What's up, guys? Welcome back. Amazing RC. It's your boy Brian, and this is a Sawback. Now, a while back, if you've been following my channel, you'll know that I have been absolutely thrilled to be driving a Gmade GS01 Komodo, and I love it. We shot everything from River Slayers 3, which was phenomenal, all the way up until, I don't know, a video or two just about a month ago. When I bought the G-Made Komodo, I purchased it for many reasons. First of all, it's Korean, and I don't know why, I just love everything Korean. But it's Korean, it was different, it was something that was not a Traxxas or an Axial. It was competitive. I read a ton about it. I absolutely loved a bunch of stuff that came with the truck. It was also my first kit, like a rock crawling kit. I've built kits before, but not an actual rock crawler. My first rock crawler was a TRX-4. I still have not owned an Axial SCX-10-2. I know that's horrible, but I will get one day. But when I got this, I really like to stand out and do something different. A few other things sold me on the truck itself. Three things major. One was the internal spring shocks, the whole, droop and all that. I got super heavy into trying to figure out, these extra canister shocks and all this other cool stuff. But then I saw in a kit, if you got the kit form of the GS01, you didn't get the external spring shocks. You got the internal spring shocks, and I fell in love with that. It also didn't come with electronics, which I love, so I got to put my own stuff in, which I cheaped out. I robbed electronics out of my Gen 7 Pro and threw them in here real quick. One of the other things that sold me on this was the body itself. Now, if you remember, the Gmade Komodo comes with this killer body. It's got really cool high-end features on it, like these light buckets. I mean, it's got really big light buckets, front and rear, and it really makes for a great look. So I fell in love with this. Of course, I chopped the windshield out, threw a camera in it, and we ran it up a river. But I've had zero problems with that body. Very thick Lexan. Like I said, super happy with it. The other thing were these tires. Now, this is not the original set of rims that comes with the Gmade Komodo. Believe it or not, that was the one fatal flaw of the Gmade Komodo, were the rims themselves, not the tires, but the rims themselves were horrible. I think I actually have a video where I completely clowned the rims, and I got so much flack for that video because I hated them. They were horrible. I would try to put them together and they just disintegrated in my hands. Now, maybe they did that to put more money into the Komodo itself. The final reason that I bought the Gmade Komodo is for this very reason right here. I knew that by just purchasing a body and the little bits that come with it for, I don't know, 30, 35 US dollars, I could make my Gmade Komodo into a Gmade Sawback, a completely different truck. The same platform I'm used to underneath, but a completely different truck. They're not even the same scale. You can call them all 1/10 if you want to, but the guy that fits in this vehicle does not fit in this vehicle. This is a completely different size truck. Now you have this giant open cab, which I've never done before, and I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to have an exposed driver, trying to fall out of the cab as I'm running up and down a mountain. And I finally have that. I've got my little guy Velcroed in there so he can't fall out while I'm rolling down the mountain, or at least less likely to. And as you also can see, I've painted the outside with Flex Seal. Now, we're not going to get too far into the weeds with Flex Seal right now because I have a full Flex Seal video coming very soon on how to paint your body again with more of your answered questions in an upcoming video featuring Flex Seal. So I don't want to get too far into the weeds with Flex Seal right now, but as you can see, I have painted the outside, most of it, with Flex Seal. And the reason I did that is because Flex Seal sent me this huge box of goodies and stuff that I just really couldn't afford too much. I just didn't have sitting around the house. I've got white Flex Seal, I've got black Flex Seal. If you remember, I was painting the inside of the bodies with Flex Seal. We'd paint some extravagant, I said I wasn't going to get in the weeds with Flex Seal, and I'm not doing very good. But we would paint the inside with our awesome paint jobs, and then I would show you how to paint the entire inside with Flex Seal to save your paint job. Well, now I've taken that and I've gone to the next level, and now I'm going to show you guys how to paint the outside of your body with Flex Seal. The reason why I'm doing this is very specific. I wanted the texture. I wanted the shiny yet matte finish. I wanted it to be rugged and able to be scratched. And I'll tell you what, there are not too many downsides to spraying your vehicle with Flex Seal. But like I said, future video, we'll get into that very soon. Now, once we get rid of this, and I show you what's going on the inside. Now, all I did in here literally comes with the body. So you purchase the body, 30, 35 bucks. You get your big decal sheet, you get your Lexan body, you get it all cut out. Now, there are minor fitment issues in here, which they take care of in purchasing the body. So you don't need anything extra, no customization. You do need to swap your electronics to a very specific spot because everything needs to lie underneath the hood. Remember, I filled this entire interior with carbon fiber. Everything's super stiff in here. I've got sheets of carbon fiber everywhere. Now, I had my carbon fiber rock slides here, which are extremely functional. I'm also going to do big FPV with this. I always wanted to have an FPV camera, kind of like JD, how he's got one sitting. Well, I mean, he took it to another level. The guy's head is the FPV camera. I mean, you can see the guy's hands moving around. He's got all kinds of servos attached to this thing, and it's really remarkable. But I'm not going to go quite that far, but it would be really cool to have FPV sitting either next to the driver, as the driver, or behind the driver, and being able to control the car. Now, I just got into FPV, and I am just stoked, so be sure to check out some FPV going on in this vehicle. But as far as swapping your Komodo to a Sawback, it's just as easy as purchasing the Sawback body. I would imagine that swapping from a Sawback to a Komodo would be just as simple. So definitely check that out as well. But that's the third reason why I got the Gmade Komodo, is because I knew that down the line, it was only going to cost me 30, 35 bucks to swap the entire truck around, the look and the feel, with just the purchase of a body. So here's our Gmade Sawback that used to be a Gmade Komodo, and I absolutely love it. As you guys have been watching, I have got this thing out everywhere already, testing it out. And the reason that I did a few tests before we even got to this point, because remember, I'm not done painting this. We're not done talking about Flex Seal. You obviously can tell that my fenders are clear and all kinds of cool stuff going on there. So just know that there's another video coming about Flex Seal, and it will be very soon. I did swap a couple things out here before we got into making it a Sawback. I spruced a few things up, mainly the motor. Now, I went to my local hobby shop. Shout out to Smoky Mountain Hobbies down here in gorgeous Andrews, North Carolina. I went down there and talked to my buddy Denny and grabbed a motor real quick, and I tell you, I don't have an axial Wraith or an axial SCX-10-2 or an SCX-24, which I'm really digging on. Denny didn't have one of those, otherwise we'd be doing a video on that. But I did pick up this really cool 55 turn from Axial, and this thing makes no noise. It is super, super torque heavy. It refuses to get warm. Now, granted, I've got a 9-tooth pinning gear in this thing, so it's not super fast. It's just nothing but torque. But I mean, I can crawl anywhere I want to. The weight distribution in this is very, very nice. Now, the future for our Sawback. I've got some issues with what I did to these little tiny metal tabs that come stock with a Sawback, or with a Komodo or a Sawback. I attached these really wild rock slides to it. Well, after rolling down a mountainside 7,000 times, it weakened not the carbon fiber, but the metal tabs that I've built this on. So I'm going to do a carbon fiber strut bar or anti-sway bar or stiffening something, and I can actually get this right through here. So somewhere in here, I'm going to tie these two together with a couple spacers. I'm going to bolt them down real good, and that's really going to stiffen this chassis up. So that's coming. And then also, we've got our little bits that we didn't use with our Gmade Komodo. We've got some really cool stuff from Banggood, some metal chains. One of the other things that I've been waiting to use, and you can go on, any of these, websites. I choose Banggood.com, but you can go on any of these websites, Amazon, wherever, and you get these cool little antennas. Now, these used to be in cell phone antennas, years ago, and somebody along the way has put one onto their RC car, and now they fashion these for RC cars. Well, I kind of remembered some other types of cell phone antennas, and I got a bucket of old cell phones from the late 90s downstairs, and I went ripping all the antennas off, and I found one antenna that was really cool. And the reason being is because you can kind of add some motion to this one. This antenna actually will be mounted by this little tiny metal bracket here, and it'll sit right there. But what makes this antenna cool is it's retractable. So you can actually push this antenna down flush with the vehicle, just like you would in your 80s and 90s vehicles. It was real big to have a motorized extending antenna, and that's exactly where it would live while you're out. And it's still a cell phone antenna, so it can be rolled over on, but when you're done, you could, the super experience could put that on a servo. Brian won't be doing that, but you will see this antenna on this truck. So I've got some other little bits that need to go on here, but as far as it sits right now, this is my Gmade GS01 Sawback, which used to live its life as a GS01 Komodo. Cost me $35, guys, to turn it from this rolling down the mountain, River Slayers 3 model to my brand new truck. I absolutely love it. You are going to see much more coming from this. Until next time, guys, it's Brian, and this is Amazing RC.